Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Dystopian Simulation Radio. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm Linz.
And today, we are here.
You never have anything prepared.
Guilty as charged.
We're always in the dystopian simulation, Chris. You know how it is. Every day we wake up, we open our phones, we look at the news, and there's something else happening that makes us go, why? So yeah, we're all in this together. That's the good side of things, I suppose. We're not alone.
I did prepare one thing.
Oh, okay.
Bonjour, mes petits filous. Ça va? J'ai joué au foot à la weekend.
Ça va bien, merci. Oh, you've been to France. You went on a holiday to France.
I did. I went to France.
Oh God, what did you do over there?
Oh, we always just okay. Patrons, we'll get to you, but I am, of course, being asked now to give a formal review. Let me just start this off here. Hold on. Yes, I have been to Paris. I shall review the entire country based on my 5 days there.
I cannot hear you over French music.
I can hear you saying something, but I cannot hear it over this very French music.
Because the music is too loud.
Literally cannot hear a word you're saying, so I'm just going to crack on.
You are too loud, Chris.
So yes, I have been to Paris, and I shall now review the entire country based off my 5 days in one city. Hey hoy hoy ho, Linz, before we get started, everyone told me that Paris was le shithole. My phone would be snatched, and everyone was very rude. But Disneyland Paris, but it isn't a real Disney park. And let me tell you, actually, it was lovely.
Aww.
It's a really good time. I mean, it's a big city, so obviously not all of the areas are going to be the same, but we never encountered anything that might cause Paris syndrome. I know that was a big concern of yours when we were going over there.
I hoped it was going to be a big concern of yours, actually. Just so you'd ring the hotline.
Everyone was really, really nice, but that might have been because I was busting out my GCSE D grade in French, or it might have been because I have an adorable 3-year-old who kept saying, bonjour.
He can also say, croissant, in a really sad way.
Disney was good fun as well. It certainly is a real Disney park, but it'll always be Euro Disney to me, damn it. I'll die before I call it Disneyland Paris.
Yep.
More importantly, I laid eyes on the Eiffel Tower. It's quite big. I saw some Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, however you want to say it.
Gosh.
Linz, I did also sample the local cuisine.
Ooh. Reviews?
Many pain au chocolat and croissants were consumed, but I also sampled the cheeses. So many from up and down the country. But the best? What the French call le bébé belle.
Yes, you did send me a video of you browsing over the French cheeses, and there on the bottom shelf, forgotten, lonely, but globally popular was Le Baby Belle. What did we say? We did have a back and forth about that on Instagram. It was like, bop, 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 Le Baby Belle.
Le Baby Belle.
We are so irritating. And I did notice we have one listener in France. So we do apologise, but Chris enjoyed your country a lot.
And you're going to love this next bit then. I did venture where few Englishmen have gone though, Linz. I tried 2 of the most stereotypical things from France, besides a string of onions. Any guesses?
Snails, I think. Escargot, but I think a lot of people have tried that.
Oui? Anything else?
Escargot and, there's probably some other type of strange cheese that nobody wants to eat.
Maybe. I don't know if you call it cheese. Frog's legs.
Oh, of course. But a lot of people have had escargot and frog legs, I think. Well, they sell them in Sweden, actually, in the supermarkets. Not the legs.
I'm not claiming to be the first Englishman in France.
You said where no Englishman had ventured.
I said where few Englishmen had ventured.
Oh, few. Before. But loads of people have escargot, don't they? They think it's posh. But it's like shell buggers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favourite. Escargot was exactly how you'd think it would be. I mean, it was cooked in butter and garlic, so, I mean, to be honest, it tasted just fine. But the texture was off-puttingly chewy.
Yeah, I mean, is it any different to a willick, really?
Like a stale mawam.
Mao, a stale mawam. That is a review I did not expect to hear. I love that.
They're all right, but I won't be having them again in my own free will.
Yeah. And frog's legs people like, it's chicken fish, right?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean...
Chicken fish.
Let me tell you, I don't care if the chemicals are turning them gay. Their legs are all mine.
I think that makes the legs much better.
They were great, just not enough meat, as you can imagine. What I need is a really buff frog. One that's never skipped leg day.
Like the Loveland frog.
Yeah, I need a Loveland frog, that's what I need.
Chris wants to love that frog.
Yeah.
That's what
Get
I
that
heard.
love right in my mouth right now. If it was just a sort of chicken drumstick size, it would have tasted like a chicken drumstick.
Are you talking about a toad then? You mean you're talking about toad legs? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't get into it too much with Le Frog.
Le Franche.
But overall, I really enjoyed it. From the Champs-Élysées to the Notre Dame, and from Disneyland to the many, many play parks that we had to stop by. Yeah.
Hold up.
10.
I'd
do it again.
Did you see? You obviously strolled along the River Seine.
Yes.
Where we did the classic episode about the most kissed face in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you strolled along there. Get any vibes?
I did. I actually took a boat up and down it.
Oh, nice. It's actually cool you got to visit like the places we have been talking about. Terrare probably would have been strolling along there now and again, eating, well, everything, to be fair. If you haven't heard that episode, go back into the archives.
we do have quite a few episodes that focus on the French, actually. And some people might think that after this I owe the French an apology. And let me say, on record, I'll burn in hell before I apologise to a Frenchman. I
actually know a few French people and I absolutely adore them. So I do not agree with Chris's sentiment, but we'll not get too deep into it. That's the only way we can survive this conversation.
I love the French. I love you. I love everybody. And you know what? That's good. Because love is a key component of today's file that we're going to look into. But before we do,
oh God,
we need to talk about another type of love. We need to talk about the love that we have for our patrons. So, Linz.
What kind of loves do you have for the Patreons, Chris?
Oh, well, anything behind a
endless
paywall.
And eternal.
Absolutely. So, of course, if you want to join our Patreon, it's patreon.com/dystopian simulation radio. You're free to listen to this without joining our Patreon. But if you want to support us, the work that we do, and keep the lights on down here in the DSR basement, we really, really appreciate it. So we would like to give a special shout out and thank you to our Patreons.
Okay, so we have the gorgeous Tony Taylor. We have Ethan Cleffin. Not sure if I said that right. I tried. Michael Cunliffe, a favourite. A Hawk, favourite name. Chris Lebowski, absolute legend. Or A. Beatrice Yambrook, ordained sinister minister, another classic Patreon. Graves, hope you're doing good, amazing. Riff Cult, absolute legend. Cropley Crab, best name ever again. Cash Broadus.
Pronounced it wrong.
Oh yeah, sorry. You've pronounced it wrong so many times. I don't remember how to pronounce it.
I never pronounce it wrong.
Yeah,
it's right every time I do it.
Jason R. Nelson, another OG, Creepy Paper, Jamie Sook, Lindsay Keller, thank you so much, guys. Mike Wright, Kelsey Carruthers, Linz Gibbon, a bunch of classics there. Drake Holvig, another. Michael M. Wesley Agers, congrats, Wesley. Riaz K, legend. Toxic Avenger, one of my favorites. Pip Marchi, another favorite. You're all our favorites. And the legendary Philip Hoffman.
Yes, thank you all so much. And I must just issue one correction. It is Linz Gibson, not Linz Gibbon. She isn't.
Did I say Gibbon?
A monkey, as far as I'm aware.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Linz Gibson. Did I say Gibbon?
You did.
Oh my God, so embarrassing.
but it's staying in the edits.
I'm so sorry, fellow Linz. You are not a gibbon, but I do like gibbons, so there's a compliment in that somewhere. You could slap a tiger as...
I'm digging my grave.
Okay, Chris, I'm realizing how difficult it is to read a long list of names, and I do apologize for mocking you every other time that you did it. Linz Gibbon.
Apology accepted. Linz, apart from marsupial-based fuck-ups, how are you?
Oh gosh, I've been stressed to the gills. Stressed to the gibbons. I passed my exams. That's what I've been stressed about. I passed them. I'm moving forward. I passed it. And like yesterday, I heard that I passed it. I did the exams Monday, Tuesday, found out yesterday night. And I was like, holy shit, I did it. And I felt like I should feel joy. However, I didn't. I was just still stressed. But today I feel joy. So I'm happy.
Excellent. How do you say congratulations in Swedish?
Grattis.
Oh, that's kind of straightforward. Grattis.
Hold on, I have the message. Let's see, what did the message say? Also, we have met, right? Have we recorded since we met in person?
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
You had a trip back to the UK where we met up.
Exactly. We hung out. Like, that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we for anyone who's listening, we do live in different countries now. Didn't always, but we live in different countries, so it's always a rare treat when Linz visits the homeland again. So we got to just walk around, be idiots for a while, and talk about absolute bullshit.
Yep, it was very fun. But we didn't, I've just realized we didn't do the milkshake French fry.
Oh no.
And for that, I'm very sad. But we will. We'll do it in a few months. But yeah, we met. I do have a couple of clips. I have a couple of clips to share on Patreon. I totally forgot about them. Measuring the difference in our stride. So the difference in stride between Bigfoot and the Dover Demon. I do have some video evidence of that.
Speaking of which, it was also my birthday in the interim as well. And,
it was.
Thank you for the gift.
I'm so sorry it arrived fucked up, but wasn't it cool?
It is a lovely Twin Peaks mug. I've sent it off for return. I don't know what you do, but hopefully the next time we record, I will be sipping out of a lovely Twin Peaks mug. But I was just going to say, speaking of Bigfoot, you also had a very Bigfoot-themed message in my card.
Yes. And what was the card, Chris?
But it was a lovely Pokemon card.
Yep,
which I
a retro
appreciated,
one.
Because when you opened it up, there was a picture of my son's favorite Pokemon in there. Slowpoke.
Yes.
So
I was hoping you were going to show it to him and he was going to go, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was just like, that's mine. That's mine now. Can I read it? No, Daddy, no. Look at me. It's my birthday now.
Oh, he's so cute.
Thank you very much. Well, I think it's about time to dust off this file today. And, well, it's a doozy, Linz.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be dealing with cults, aliens, and something vaguely resembling the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh my God, did you watch it?
No.
I did, not as good as last year, but Karia came back with Baby Lasagna, so very happy about that. That means nothing to anybody, does it?
I think it only means something to one person in this conversation. But today, we are opening the file on the UNARIUS Academy of Science. Ever heard of him?
UNARIUS? I don't even know what that means.
Well, it's an acronym, which we will get into.
Thank God, because I felt really stupid then.
Let's just hope I remember to put it in my script. Yes, I did.
Safe to say I have never heard of it, Chris, and I'm sure not many people have, because I've heard of a lot of weird shit.
You're about to, and your life is going to be so much better for it.
I thought you were going to say your life will depend on it, and I was like, oh shit.
It all started on the 11th of November, 1904, when a bouncing baby boy is born in Logan, Utah, USA. His parents, after being reprimanded for bouncing him at such a young age, named him Ernest Leland Norman. Ernest was quickly labeled a genius quite possibly in retrospect by himself. But regardless, he claimed to have constructed a microscope himself at the age of 7 by deconstructing a telescope. Okay, fair enough.
Like turning it around?
Kind of. Do you think he knows anything about black holes that will quench my thirst?
Shut up, Chris.
Yeah, moving on. His family moved to California when he was 17, and that was where he met his first wife, Edris Wilson. They were married in 1929 until 1954, when she sadly passed away. The couple had a son early into their marriage, who they named Ernest Leland Norman Jr., as was the style at the time. Norman found work, and you'll like this, Linz, as both a contributor to a scientific journal and also, following a period of experimenting with palm reading, clairvoyance, and various forms of fortune-telling, found employment as a minister for the spiritualist church.
You know me so well.
So let's take a little bit of a look at Norman, just to open things up here. And if you could please say what you see.
Ooh, Megamind. All right. So we've got Caucasian guy in a lovely suit. Got to get a zoom in on the tie there. Don't know what that is. Just some...
That is breakfast.
Okay. Just some kind of a filigree thing he has going on embroidered there. He's got a little handkerchief in the pocket. Receding hairline, not going to judge, but gives space for a rather large forehead. That's probably good if you're trying to convince people of spiritual things. A very serious stare. Got his hands clasped together on the desk. Looks very serious. Yeah.
He does look very serious in this particular photograph. This is the best photograph I found of him, but in other ones he does seem rather happy. So don't let that serious look fool you.
He looks very intelligent. It's like he's got like brain space up there. I don't know if it's just the receding hairline, but he looks like he's thinking really hard. He's got like, it's either the shadows, I'm not sure, but he has what looks like 2 veins above each eyebrow.
He does, which sort of looks like he's sending a beam out.
It does. It really does.
As mentioned earlier, sadly his wife Edris passed away in 1954. But that same year, Ernest attended a spiritualist convention where he saw he was being followed by 3 bearded, old, white men. Supposedly they were Ezra, Elisha, and Enoch, figures from the Hebrew Bible. He did this himself, by the way. No one else saw this, just he saw it.
Okay.
And they foretold of the great works that Ernest Norman would write. So immediately Ernest did 2 things. Decided to found a church and to hit on that smoking 2-time divorcee and 1-time widow over there by the bar. So let's have a look at his second wife, Ruth.
Okay. Oh, he does look very happy.
He does.
Okay, I'm still seeing brain space. That brain is in there. Yeah. Okay, so this is much later, I'm guessing, and it's in colour. He's standing in front of a tree in a backyard, and what was his new wife called?
Ruth.
Ruth. She's smiling. She's got a mahogany, I suspect, dyed sort of short perm haircut. They both look very happy.
They do, and they were very happy. This is a nice story in that regard. There's nothing untoward going on here. They are
thank God.
Very happy together, very genuine love, as it seems.
Good, because I wrote too much true crime, and I was really concerned for a minute. I was like, they look suspiciously happy together.
But what do you think that Ernest's opening line was to Ruth? How would you mack on this fine broad? I think that's how they spoke back then.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, Chris. What would he say? I feel like he just used one of the classic lines. Like that.
Did it hurt when he fell out of heaven?
Exactly, yeah. But also I feel like he's probably a bit quirky. So he'd be like, the ghost of your long past mother is standing behind you and says that I'm boy. Oh, no. He would do the, hey, feel this. And then she touches his like silk embroidered tie and he goes, that's husband material.
Well, you're actually closer
Yes.
with the former that you had there.
Okay.
So what he did was he looked her deep in the eyes and told her that in a past life, she had been daughter to an Egyptian pharaoh, and she'd played a key role in protecting Moses.
Oh my gosh, Dorothy Edie
Mhm.
vibes. They loved it back then, didn't they? They were like,
Exactly.
ancient Egypt? Okay.
Yeah, if only Dorothy had been there, she could have been his third wife.
She would have passed out, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
But check that out in the archives, everyone, if you haven't listened to it. But just like that, Ruth was smitten, and the pair set around founding UNARIUS. Now, UNARIUS, I'm going to go UNARIUS, actually. UNARIUS stands for Universal Articulate Interdimensional Understanding of Science, which...
Okay, like alien science?
Ding, 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 ding.
Right.
Oh, got it in one. We're going to get much more into what this really means and what they believe in a few moments. But first, let's go back to Ernest and Ruth. So Norman had become convinced that he could communicate with both aliens and historical figures. Ruth would serve as his assistant, typing up his communications in the early days, which in itself is actually a miracle at the church, as she claimed that she couldn't type when she went to sleep one night, but awoke with the ability flowing through her the next morning.
Wait, she didn't have the skill of typing.
Well, bear in mind that this was the 1950s. It was a skill to be able to type back then.
Yeah, I suppose.
People had to learn it. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense these days, but...
I mean, eyes on keys, push key. Job done.
Have you ever tried to support an elderly relative use a computer?
True. Yeah.
So the first miracle took place. Praise be to UNARIUS. And the church began gaining traction, with membership numbers growing year on year, although the majority of members were joining from other New Age religions or spiritualism, making them ripe for conversion. The members were largely normal people who were interested in the paranormal. The church, to be honest, very much mirrors any modern religious group rather than the Heaven's Gate cult or anything of that ilk. Members have their own free will. They can join and leave freely. It's just that we're talking about aliens and UFOs instead of Holy Spirits for the most part when it comes to this. But we should just get straight that this is, as we will get into, a very, very kooky and eccentric group, but it never verges into cult like Waco Showdown or fanatical severance from the laws of the land. It's just, well, let me just get this next sentence out. Ernest and Ruth Norman began traveling spiritually to other planets together.
Right.
Let me just read that sentence again for clarity. Ernest and Ruth Norman began traveling spiritually to other planets together, and they learned great truths and views from these intergalactic wise men that they would bring back to Earth.
Wait, they'd bring back the truths or the wise men?
The truths,
Okay.
and then the wise men would later follow, but we'll get into that.
Oh my god. Okay, why am I feeling that Elvis will be mentioned? He's not going to be mentioned, is he?
I know actually he's not, because he wasn't dead at the time, was he? At
No,
least
but he
in
was
the early
around.
days. He's not dead now, as we all know.
True, he's just gardening somewhere.
Yeah, he's gardening.
Okay, so right, I'll let you proceed.
No problem. Well, let me just we'll recap in a second, but it was around this time that the couple also discovered that they'd held many more important past lives than they thought, including, you guessed it, Jesus and Mary of Bethany. The doctrine that UNARIUS developed from these teachings and the past lives of Ernest and Ruth formed the foundation of the church itself. So here we go, Linz. We'll pause here for a second. I've just dropped a lot of information on you in a short period of time there. So we've got Ernest and Ruth Norman. Ernest, who initially is channeling and traveling spiritually but intergalactically, but later discovers that Ruth has ascended to a new plane of existence and can also travel spiritually as well. And that they shared many great lives in the past together and have cosmically come back together for this particular purpose. So you've dabbled in spiritualism and the like. What's your take on this?
Well, I did for an episode join the spiritualist church. So, yes, I have dabbled. To be honest, when I was going to those meetings, they were just like, the whole, oh, does anyone know a John? Oh, yeah, he died of he's coughing, he died of a lung disease, his heart stopped eventually, like obvious stuff. There was no real sort of, I'm guessing, transcribing things from other spiritual planes. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Although we had the Fox sisters, and they're a big deal in spiritualism, and they, communed with ghosts and spirits, but I guess we're going to find this out. But I'm imagining that Ernest had like some spirits come through him, and he talked kind of like that Louis Theroux clip that we always mention. Zordon, and then maybe his wife, like Ruth, typed what he was saying.
Yeah, kind of like that. It wasn't that he it was more that they were able to travel to these spiritual planes and converse with
in a dreamlike state or something.
Yeah, and then when they came back, he would tell the story, and Ruth would be his touch typist.
Right, so they went off and had a dream or a trip and came back and wrote it up. Okay, I have no idea where this is going.
Well, just hang on, because let me assure you, it's fabulous.
Okay.
Ernest was known as the primary channel. He taught us that the universe is filled with higher dimensional planets run by spiritually evolved beings, and that Earth could join them if we just cleaned up our act a little.
Like the EU?
Pretty much. These, as he called them, space brothers, spoke of reincarnation.
Wait, stop. He called them space brothers.
Space brothers.
Fucking love that.
Yep. Space brother.
Yeah, exactly.
They spoke of reincarnation, karmic healing, and interdimensional science, where souls progress by learning from their past lives, often with the help of benevolent alien mentors. Ernest claimed that anyone could learn to communicate with the Space Brothers and to help to bring Earth into the fold. Early on in the church, Ernest parlayed with the ambassador for Mars, Uriel, deep in the underground Martian cities, and this groundbreaking goodwill visit not only got Mars on side in supporting Earth's cause to join the intergalactic Space Brothers, but also forged the basis of Ernest's first book of 20, The Truth About Mars.
Of 20? What was his job at this time?
A full-time head of the church.
Gee, unemployed. You know that meme, like your unemployed friend on a Tuesday, and he's just writing 20 books about the Space Brothers.
Well, there was a lot to write about. There's a whole system out there for us to join if we would only open our minds and our hearts.
So he was getting donations. That's what was funding his.
Yeah, in the early days, not as much as would go on to later, but they were getting donations, book purchases. There was regular people attending the church. I will say it never seemed like they were fleecing anybody, but they did charge for attendance at a service.
Preying on the weak, I get it.
Now, Ernest Norman continued publishing up until 1971, when he sadly passed of viral pneumonia.
No.
And the church was suddenly without a leader. Its followers were distraught. And only one person, one woman, Ruth Norman, or shall we now say Queen Uriel, we will get to that later, could step in. And Linz, this is where things get really, Interesting. But before we get into Ruth's tenure as leader of the church, what do you make of all of this so far?
It's giving the classic sort of UFO spiritualism cult pipeline.
Hmm?
It's not too different, you know, it's just like there's a lot of these, isn't there? There's a lot of these kind of groups, but I have a feeling Ruth is about to go rogue and it's about to get like bonkers. Right now, it's not shocking me that much. I think it's because we are the hosts of Dystopian Simulation Radio. Like, a normal person will probably go, what the fuck? But I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, it is about to go a little bit off the rails. So let's just move on to that.
Off the rails we will go.
Yes. Join me as we break the gear stick and just
Take my hand,
accelerate
space
onwards
bro.
into galactic space. So Ruth transformed, quite literally, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. She took up a new persona and being. She became the Archangel Uriel, reincarnated in the corporeal form of Ruth Norman. Linz, cast your mind
Yes.
back to the image of Ruth that you saw before.
Yes,
And then
I'm looking at it actually.
I'd like you to describe and react in real time to Queen Uriel.
Awooga! No, but this is absolutely mental. Actually, it's giving sort of like Thai angel vibes
Okay.
with the hat and the sort of. Okay, this is a lot to describe, so. Yeah, it's really giving like Thai angel sort of like vibes. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll probably agree. So we have Ruth. She's smiling, she's happy, she's in her element. She's wearing what I can only describe as a Miss Universe global spiritual explosion outfit. The fit is crazy. So she's got this sort of cone shaped hat, crown, I don't know. And it's got LED lights wrapped around it, spiraling up to a point. She has like what I can only describe as like a Victorian collar, a really large, long, wide Victorian collar that looks like flames, like bursting out of a sun on her chest. She has blonde curly hair, but it looks like a wig. She's got gloves with long fingers with these LED lights on again, and then a big black sort of evening gown, big black prom dress, wedding dress. I don't know, some poofy big dress with like planets on it. 3D planets. It is really something. You're going to have to go to the Instagram, d.s.radio, to see this thing or Google it. It is really something.
Yeah, it is.
Who designed that? Who are you wearing tonight, Ruth? That is the question.
It's all my
Like,
own work.
seriously, that is really something.
Yeah, and if you zoom in, you can just about make out the names of the planets. These are all the members of the Space Brothers.
These aren't planets that we recognize,
No.
for the most part, at least.
You've got Din, you've got Vulna.
Volna is an... that's a terrible name. Anzia? It's a bit hard to see,
One
but
that
yeah.
just looks like it's called Yes.
Yes! That's the person who made the dress, just added that at the end. Yeah, there's just planets we've never heard of.
Yeah.
In gecko colours, I would call them.
Yes. They're it's a very
fantastic.
It's a very striking look, and it is fabulous.
She's very happy wearing it.
Yes, and she's very happy in general.
Yeah.
This was the 1970s, and Ruth had a flair for the glitz and the glamour of the era. So
who didn't, Chris?
Well, nobody quite like Ruth, I would argue. She took some of the funds that they'd gathered over the years and invested in lots
in that dress.
and lots of costumes.
Yeah, okay, right, yeah. I totally, totally believe that.
Yeah. Not to mention lots of movie-making equipment.
Oh, God.
Uriel was born from the stars, but here on Earth, she would be a star. Linz, I'd like us to watch this excerpt from one of the many many productions the church made, and describe to the listeners after watching it just what in the 1970s is going on here.
Oh gosh. I'm thinking glittery lens flare and dream sequences.
You are not far.
All right, here we go.
I am Archangel Uriel. I am light. I am wisdom. I am your future.
Infinity. Infinity. Infinity.
That was, I think, one of the best things that I've seen all week. It's like if the Ramayana and ABBA did like a crossover campaign. Like it's really, really like reminding me of like the Ramayana, like the story of Rama, the life of Rama, mixed with like just 70s shit. It's honestly amazing. Do you not feel like it's got this sort of like this Rama vibe though, this Buddhist like
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's definitely got a bit of an Eastern feel to it, but I wonder if that's a...
It's got Buddhist vibe. Like at the beginning, like the brothers, were they the brothers? Those like the
yes.
shaved head guys with the sort of silky robes on, and honestly, it looks like somebody read the Ramayana and then was also existing in the 70s and went, maybe if we put sprinkle aliens on this and we've got ourselves a church.
Well, I mean, you're probably not too far off. And these productions that they made are quite fantastic in scale, and there are many, many of them. And they were broadcast on public access TV, where...
God, imagine waking up in the middle of the night and seeing that.
Yeah, it definitely caused a few 1970s teenagers experimenting with drugs to tune in whenever they were broadcast. Uriel dressed in outlandish costumes designed to convey her past life, which included, but were not limited to, Shakespeare, Socrates, Queen Elizabeth I, that is. Sorry. Queen Elizabeth I and a princess from Atlantis.
Just all the big guns, really, isn't
all
it?
The big ones. She delivered lessons to the masses on peace and love. I bring you love. And encouraged us to work together in order to join the allegiance of space brothers and to ascend to the intergalactic brotherhood through the methods of dance and song.
Did she have songs?
There were songs, yes.
Yes.
These productions were part Star Trek, part Eurovision, and part RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
In fact, around this time, I can only assume that the fledgling drag community was searching for an identity, saw Archangel Uriel, and said, that is how we shall slay. She also, at one point, apparently built a golden-coloured throne in their headquarters and adorned it with peacock feathers. Because, well, it's fabulous, Dana.
It is. It's very fabulous. I'm looking at the screenshot that you sent me from the video, and it's very like ABBA / Dolly Parton. Like, who wouldn't want to join that? There's a lot of depressing, sad religions and cults you can join, but then you see this and you're like, I'll go with that. I'm lost. I'll find myself there.
Exactly. It's, there's far worse places that you can land. So
the pink and purple UFO as well with the glitter on it. Hell yes. Any day I'd go in that pink UFO.
we do want, we know you can get a bit distracted by the smoke and mirrors, so to speak, by the glitz and the glamour. But what was the goal of Uriel and the church, and how were they reaching it? Well, let's hear from Ruth in her own words.
We have been working at this plan and mission for almost 1 million years, because it's a vast plan and it takes a lot of preparation, especially the preparing of the people, because all of these people on the other 32 worlds are advanced. They are not conscious-minded people. They can contact anything or anybody. And so this has taken a long time to educate them. It's like it is taking time for the Earth people here to understand that life is continuous, that there is no death, that man lives forever and ever. It's only his overcoat, the physical body, that he sheds. So isn't that worth working for? Indeed so. And the main reason that I have come to usher in this new age is to bring to you the love of we brothers, the infinite love, which is peace and understanding. So we share with you our love.
First of all, the costume,
Mm-hmm.
the rainbow foil with the cardboard cut-out collar that stands up, the Tudor color, fantastic. Also, yes, she's wearing wigs. I knew that mahogany dye would not come out easily. Yep, she's got some lace wigs. Is that the what's the Hobbit guy?
Then will you wear wigs?
Will you wear wigs?
So as you can see, the goals of the church are crystal clear.
Wholesome.
Right?
It was wholesome, honestly.
Very wholesome.
It's just like, get along, and here I am wearing my costumes. Like, you can't argue with that. But I'm feeling like every person who wants power and influence, I don't know if I'm just being negative, but I feel like everyone who wants power has some horrible ulterior motive, and I'm just waiting for you to say what it is. Although I'm not sure in this case, because you seem to think that it's very wholesome.
It generally is, but it does spiral a little bit from here. But I don't think she ever gets too far away from this message of peace and love.
Okay.
I mean, we can all get on board with infinite love and understanding, right? I mean,
yes, but sometimes people just say things and do other things, and I'm feeling like this is where I'm expecting it to go, but I'm not sure it will.
I mean, I like to describe our community here as full of infinite love and understanding.
The DSR community?
Ruth continued on from where Ernest left off, and that spreading the word that we should work hard to join the Space Brothers. Earth was the problem child. She charged $5 a lesson to her followers and spoke lessons channeled from professors from other planets all over the universe. The church worked hard to raise funds to purchase a 67-acre stretch of land near Jarmull, California, which would be a future landing site for 33 UFOs, one from each of the Space Brothers. Thousands of alien scientists would land to convince us of their ways and bring us into the fold as Planet 34, which is a great name for a band.
Yes. Yeah, or just like a handle online.
Uriel predicted that by the end of 1974, the aliens would land, before later revising it to 1975. When that came and passed, Uriel did a rather rare thing in the world of religious leaders and admitted inaccuracy. She was wrong because she had been reliving the trauma of a past life in which she had been Isis, the Egyptian, not a member of the terrorist cell.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Chris, you had me so worried. I was like, excuse me?
But she'd been assassinated just before the aliens had landed the last time, which aborted the whole thing. This caused a wave through the church, and some members even left because of this revelation that she'd been wrong. But numbers remained buoyant, and according to Ruth herself, not a biased source, there were, at its peak, around 100,000 followers of the church.
That is a lot, actually.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. It's more than we have.
About 10 more than we have. In 1975, Ruth purchased a storefront and converted it into a church for her followers to attend. And she did have another crack at predicting the landing date of the aliens and wagered with British gambling firm Ladbrokes that aliens would land before the conclusion of 1976, which is another way of waving goodbye to $4,000 that she made.
Wait, what? Ladbrokes?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
She slapped 4,000 on Ladbrokes.
That's fucking mental. I did not expect you to say that, honestly.
No, I didn't know.
I guess you can bet on anything, can't you? Like literally anything you can bet on.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, they'll take your money. Well, after this went awry again. She updated the date, this time a little bit further in the future, to 2001, and why she claimed it would begin a new cycle for humanity. And I mean, that's a hell of a way to misinterpret September the 11th, if you ask me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It explains ISIS.
According to members of the church, these dates kept changing because, quite simply, we're not ready for the truth. We can't handle the truth.
We don't know. Quite simply, we're just making shit up.
That's another way of saying it. But until we accept the teachings of UNARIUS and let love into our lives, the aliens will not land.
So we're never going to meet them, is what you're saying?
I think we could start from today, Linz. Let a little love into your life.
Well, I don't think we're the problem, Chris.
By the turn of the 1980s, Uriel was intergalactically promoted from Archangel to Lord of the Universe. And she married another Archangel, spiritually, that is, Michael, in what would have technically been her fifth marriage, several years later, if it wasn't purely on the spiritual plane. She then published book after book after book, full of the teachings that she was receiving from across the galaxy. Her clothing became even more theatrical and extreme, supposedly mimicking the dress of the extraterrestrials. And her followers treated her like a religious figure. Many felt blessed if they spent time with her, fainted at her touch, and some even forewent traditional medical treatment for ailments such as cancer, trusting that Uriel would cure them, according to a major study done in a group. This study by Taminia also concludes that Ruth displayed what they call charismatic authority, a cult of personality, if you will, like Joseph Stalin or Gandhi, and that she also showed benign authoritarianism, preaching peace and love, but also not allowing disagreement with her teachings, and those that were questioned were excommunicated, but were welcomed back with love if they wished to return to the church whilst acknowledging that they were wrong. So this is about as sort of wild as it gets for Ruth. So she definitely is the head honcho, and she doesn't like people disagreeing with her, but she never really veers into anything awful.
Hold up, Chris. Never veers into something awful. People with literal cancer were going to her for cures, thinking that she could cure them, and like ignoring actual treatment. That is pretty fucking bad. And you can guarantee those people paid out of their asses for that and probably cocked it as a result.
The reason I say that is because I couldn't find any evidence saying that she ever encouraged this.
I know, but she did it. She did healing for people who were ignoring actual medical treatment. So that is really fucking bad. And you know she took money in the form of donations. Allegedly.
100%.
We can presume, allegedly, that she did, because this is a way that these kind of cults generate money, allegedly. But yeah, I mean, like I said, somebody who wants power, who wants to be worshipped, there's always an end goal. There's always an ulterior motive. There's always sort of like money spinning or free labor. We see this all the time in cults. And as fabulous as Uriel's outfits are, and the videos, that was sort of the nail in the coffin for me. The whole like people who are terminally ill or had very serious medical problems would go for treatment. That's a thing that you see again and again and again. And I don't know where that comes from. I suppose it's sort of like you see it in a lot of holy books. At least, you know, Jesus the healer. touches someone touches his robe, they cue it, etc. And then people just sort of pretend to be these kind of characters. And aliens is a sort of modern thing. So they're like, it's not Jesus, it's aliens. And I have powers bestowed upon me from these 32 other galaxies or planets or whatever they may be. And people think that, it's real and that she has some kind of actual power when I'm assuming she didn't.
I mean, I don't know, but all
the
signs
power of
point
slay
to no.
is not enough to cure.
But yes, maybe we're jaded from some of the things that we've done on this podcast. So yeah, it's definitely bad.
It is bad. It
Definitely
is
bad.
bad. Chris, you watched too many propaganda videos from Uriel. You fell for it. You were like, that is beautiful. And
All I've ever wanted is a southern lady telling me in a drawl about peace and love.
She is an amazing character, but I think you know what? Are you like, I feel like you were susceptible to this cult,
I
Chris.
probably am.
You were.
This is definitely the type of shit that I'd probably fall into if I was down on my luck.
Holy crap. Yeah, we've just found out what can get you on the hook, I think. Oh, gosh. You got recruited during your research. You got radicalized online.
This is how I'm promoting the church.
Yes, this is just a promo. Jesus. 4 days in France and you come back like this.
They do have a branch in France. That's how I was getting. Never dealt with it.
Fucking knew it.
So, unfortunately, this is where it goes a bit bad for Ruth. In 1988, she fell and broke her hip. And this was the beginning of the end for her and her health, as it declined from that point onwards. Although she was in pretty good shape by the start of 1989, she had lost almost all of her hearing by this point, and by her final months, she was completely bedridden.
But it's pretty good that she could spiritually communicate with the others.
Exactly.
Space Bros. So,
So she was never really alone.
Yeah, exactly. It probably didn't do her much harm.
But she had promised her brothers and sisters, her followers here on Earth, that she would live until at least the landing in 2001. But in her final days, she announced that she'd been given permission by the Space Brothers to die.
And Ladbrokes made a lot of money.
But she also claimed that she would return in 2001 with the aliens.
Oh, did we miss that?
Yes, we did.
Oh.
Unfortunately. Ruth Norman passed away on the 12th of July, 1993. Jurassic Park was released one day earlier, on the 11th of July, 1993, so I'm glad that she at least got her final dying wish and died happy. Before we wrap up with what happened through 1993 to the present day, let's give Ruth one last chance to speak.
And we would talk to you this day of love. We would speak to you of love. Love not as you know it, as this moment, but we would speak to you of that infinite oscillation, the source of life, the source of all living things, which is love. Love is that oscillating energy that holds the worlds together or apart, whichever way you wish to look at it. Love is that very beautiful frequency that causes the trees to grow, the flowers to bloom. Love is that which causes man to live, for love is life. Life is love, true life. We speak of the great radiating frequency, the great force fields that come from the infinite, set in motion by the higher minds on the high frequency worlds, the super celestial worlds of the most infinite dimensions. This is set in motion and created and regenerated by these higher minds. This is the life force, the very life force of man. When you people can begin to become aware of what we speak, truly love.
We get it. Love. To be honest, like, if she could cut that down to about 2 minutes, it might work.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's got to justify the budget for these costumes somewhere.
It was weird because, like, the crowd that was like, who was the crowd that was watching it? Because it kind of, the costumes and the people, they reminded me of like the Bible kind of like books in school for children, like
Yes,
the colors of the costumes. But
very much.
it's really weird. It's very like pantomime-y, and she's just like, love, love, love will heal everything, love, love, and it's like, okay.
So those people are some of the followers. And would it surprise you that there is no script to any of these?
No, it would not surprise me in any capacity. It's like there was pauses there that they didn't even cut out when they edited the video together.
I know. That would drive me wild.
It was harder back in the day, I suppose.
So I'm just trying to pull myself out of a trance here.
I think this actually worked on you, honestly, because you were like, she's so great, she's so full of love, her message was so clear. And I was like, did we watch the same videos?
Yeah, it wasn't clear. That's what I was saying. It's just preaching about like love as a vague concept and then connecting it to some kind of space brotherhood that we must ascend when we achieve true love. And the only thing that surprises me is that they didn't all start fucking. That's usually how these things go.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, but clearly you're an old hand at these kind of meetings and how they end up. You've been to a lot of them, I guess. Do you also go in your like cardboard cutout collars with like fabric glued over them?
It's hot glue.
Is that what you call it?
Moving on. After Ruth passed away, another key member of the group, Charles Spiegel, who had been renamed Antares, led the group until 1999, which is quite something, as within the group he was previously considered to have been Satan.
What?
He was previously considered to have been Satan, who then reformed.
Okay, the Morning Star.
Yeah. But then when he passed in 1999, a council assumed control of the group. From the moment that Ruth passed, UNARIUS got a little less fabulous every year, until we reached the modern day. The board now channels intergalactic messages from Ruth, Ernest, and Spiegel, who have all ascended to become space brothers now. As we know, the aliens did not land publicly in 2001, so the group has continued to claim that we just aren't ready to become Planet 34 just yet.
We have to bone more.
Exactly.
Is that what you're here for, Chris? Have you constructed this episode to spread that message?
I mean, I wasn't going to put it out, but now you've suggested it. I mean,
that everyone has to join you in your sunken living room floor.
Yeah. Join me on the rotating bed. UNARIUS is still in operation today with its headquarters in El Cajon, California, I guess, which can be visited still. And you can go there and you can learn from their teachings today. So any listeners who want to go, please head on down, but do so with love and respect, please.
Oh.
So, Linz, that is the story of peace, love, and aliens, the Church of UNARIUS, Queen Uriel. What are your thoughts, and when are you signing up?
Well, I feel like you have been trying to recruit me for the last hour. I can see through. Sorry, Dexter. I don't know if you can hear Dexter meowing like crazy.
No.
But he never does that, and you've set something off in him. So I don't know if he's an orange space bro, but he is meowing like crazy, and he never does that. I feel like you've been trying to recruit me for an hour. It's not working, by the way. But you have really connected with Ruth, haven't you? Oh, Uriel.
I don't know.
You've really connected with
I
her.
think it's like, I think it's very funny, all of this.
It's hilarious. It
It's-
really is.
There's
It's
something
like
about that
theatrical.
southern drawl. But at the end of the day, I am a big sucker for anyone who's preaching about like love. So I mean, I do kind of like it on that level.
I
I'm
didn't
like,
take you for that kind of guy. You want a
hey,
Dolly
man,
Parton to hug you
we are
in the
hey,
cold late nights.
we are all one. We're all one, and if everyone just got along a little bit more, loved a little bit more, the world would be a better place. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad belief to hold. I do think, though, that when you are kind of leading a cult, for want of a better word, they're not a cult, but they are definitely an out there
They're a
new
cult,
age
Chris.
spiritualist
They're a
church.
cult.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
it gets into the kind of weird, wacky territory of things. Ultimately, the group is pretty harmless when you put them in the Heaven's Gate and various other things that they are often bundled alongside. They don't have any.
Well,
of
the
that sort
bar
of
is
stuff.
low.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, maybe they
cause
just
a multi-day
didn't.
shootout. In
Maybe they
Texas.
didn't reach status before she passed away.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like you've got a bit of a thing for Uriel, is what I'm picking up
How
here.
could one not?
Okay.
Queen Uriel?
Chris.
I mean, well, if someone's a queen, I mean, I would have done my bit for Queen and Country if Elizabeth had come knocking.
Would you? Okay, I didn't know you had a type, but obviously it's coming through in this episode. I am definitely going to watch more of these recruiting videos. I don't know what to call them. Promotional videos.
There are many, many, many of them on YouTube. Some of them
I'm
put up
gonna
by
be
the church
watching them.
themselves. There's also a wonderful free documentary up on YouTube as well, which I
Really?
heartily recommend.
Put that in the Patreon, because I want to see it as well. But did you say they had music videos or songs?
There are some songs and musical elements in it, but it's not the crux of what they do. It's mainly these productions, and then talking about how love, let love into your heart.
Something about love. Give me money.
The purest form of love is green money, cash money. I don't take checks. She's got this weird, like, sort of, I don't know. Oh, like, it's just like, when are you?
It's like a grandma with voice cracks,
Yeah,
trying to be sort of passionate.
When are you? I'm trying
It's
to.
obviously something that really,
I'm
really speaks to you.
I'm trying to get to that place with my voice, but I kind of can't. I'm like.
So, are they still going?
They are very much still
So,
going. But
I'm assuming you've joined.
No, I have not joined.
I don't believe
they
you.
They don't have a base in the UK. Apparently, their peak.
It's cosmic, Chris. You can join from all of 33 planets, apparently.
They did at one point have bases in multiple countries. I think it was in the US, Canada, somewhere in Europe, and Nigeria as well.
Well, the internet... Nigeria?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, why are they always picking on the Nigerians with this weird shit? Just leave them alone. Jesus Christ.
I think there was a prince out there who reached out to me on the internet, and but yeah, they're nowhere near what they were.
Well,
in their
the
heyday.
internet makes you a global citizen, Chris, so I'm sure you can sign up in some capacity. I mean, we are members of Lamb Island, Urigella's island. Yeah. We're citizens, so...
Well, if I ever make my way down to California, which I'm sure I will do one day, I will...
Together, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go and visit them together. You can do... It's not a huge site that they have, but it is the original site. You can go and visit it, I believe. There is some very interesting stuff in there. Dioramas, paintings, statues.
Costumes, I hope?
Yes. All sorts of stuff. There's way more to get into about this. Perhaps we'll do a follow-up episode if we ever go along one day. I mean, we haven't even got into the fact how Tesla is one of the Space Brothers. But that is a story
my God, you're
for
kidding.
another day.
Okay, that's a Patreon story.
Well, Linz, any final thoughts? We close this one out.
No, I think the less you think about this, the better, because you're definitely, you've got your pen, you've licked the tip of that pen and it's hovering over some kind of contract. So we better reel this in.
Yeah, I better go before I sign my entire life over to a cult.
Exactly. Go and do anything else, please.
But hey, you know what? You know what, guys? Just let a little love into your life. It doesn't have to be space brothers. Just let a little love into your life.
Doesn't have to be brothers. Could be anyone.
A little love into your life, and everything will be better today. And if that happens to be preached by a lady wearing costumes that not even Ric Flair would put on, so be it.
Maybe the real message is step up your fashion game and let a little hate in. It's 2025.
There's enough of that going around. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody. We will see you next time. Don't forget, you can join our Patreon over at patreon.com/dystopian simulation radio. And if you want to see the images from today's episode, and you really should, go to our Instagram, which is @d.s.radio. Thank you very much, Linz. And I'm looking forward to next time when you're going to tell us one of your stories.
Hell yeah. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.